Well, hi, welcome to my studio. Good morning. It is a gorgeous sunny day here in Virginia, and I thought today I could show you inside of my new art studio. I got the studio back in the summer, so I've had it for like 8 months, and I feel like I've really settled into it. It has been a humongous benefit for my business and my art making, and I just love it. So let's go inside and I can show it to you. This studio was a completely unfinished shed, basically. The place that I bought it from was advertising it as a home studio or a home office, and it was just stud. It wasn't finished out at all, so I brought in someone to finish it for me. I called him up and I said, hey, I got this new studio, can you come out and help me finish it? And he was like, absolutely. So I had him drywall it and install these can lights, which are really nice and bright, and the way they're dispersed, it gives me light that is spread out and not like completely directed one way, which is really important for oil painting. I wanted consistent lighting. But that being said, I did bring in my studio lights from my basement to give me a little extra light. One thing that was extremely important for me in my new studio was a temperature controlled building. My basement room was quite cold all the time, and I had a little area heater and that worked just fine, but with my new space, I wanted the heat to be consistent and the air to be consistent. So I have a split unit up here. It does both heat and air, and it also dehumidifies, which is really important in the summer because there'll be like so much moisture in the air here in Virginia that my paintings will stay wet for like a really long time, like 3 or 4 weeks. So getting the moisture out of the air is extremely helpful with oil painting. Something else that was really important to me was having a sink. The sink was really tricky to make happen. My husband kind of even encouraged me to not have a sink in my studio. I was kind of like, listen, I really need it because first of all, I have all of these like really messy containers full of brushes that I have to clean out, and I'm going to be carrying them back and forth into the basement, just kind of like slopping this stuff around. Even if you're careful when you're a painter, you're still going to have a mess. So I was like, this is so important to me, and I'm really glad that I kind of pushed for it. What I had to do though, I had to dig basically, well, I didn't, the guys did. The guy that finished my space, he dug a trench from the side of the house and ran water to my studio. So that means when it's really cold, I have to turn the water main off in the house so that the line to my studio doesn't freeze, which I mean, that's one small price to pay for having a sink and keeping my mess in here. Since I'm in Virginia, we only have like 3 weeks where the water freezing in the line is possible. So I wasn't super concerned about that. Speaking of the sink and how all of this works, I got this little mini water heater and it heats my water up to be not like super freezing cold. Because even in the summer, the water is extremely cold coming straight out of the pipe. This has been really wonderful to giving me warm water to wash my brushes and my hands. And it's just a luxury that I am very thankful for. So since I'm an oil painter, I really needed good ventilation. In my last studio in the basement, I had a man come in and install a vent above where I painted, and it vented it out. And that worked great. But for this studio, I needed to make sure I also had really great ventilation. So I installed this one right here. This vent is extremely quiet, which was really important to me, especially because I share my oil painting journey here with you all and on Instagram, all over. And so when I'm filming, I don't want this like big, loud, roaring exhaust fan. And I have paintings covering it, but there is a switch down here that I just reach down and I turn on. I have this old desk that has been fantastic for me. It's much wider than a regular desk, and it's really long. It's actually an old kitchen table. And if you turn it up, it becomes a bench. Let me show you. As you can see, this used to be a bench and it had like a wooden lid that flipped down right in here, but it broke off from me messing with it and lifting it up so many times. So now that's just a storage container, which is great because you need lots of storage when you're an artist. Oh, look, here's my friend who would like to join us. Come on in. I have prepped so many paintings on this table, and so it has this gorgeous patina. Now, this gorgeous window back here, my brother's girlfriend's grandma had an old church attached to her property, and it was in disrepair, so they decided to salvage everything they could, and she brought me a window, and she thought that I could make a painting to go behind the glass, and I absolutely love that idea. So that is on my to-do list in the future. Let me show you these paintings that are up here. This one is called Cherry House, and I did a series of these, and it is really fun. There's a little mouse and jello and a fish in a fishbowl, and it's in this really cute dollhouse. This painting is sold, and I'm holding on to it for a collector until she can come and pick it up. This is one of my favorite paintings I have ever done, probably the one that I sell the most prints of. Going up here, I have a little watercolor sketch of a mermaid girl, an octopus riding on her back. Kiddos did lots of fun experiments with cyanotypes, and I pulled out the bottle to show you guys. Here's a cyanotype that I did of my daughter. A really fun way to make art for sure. Then I have this little 3-tiered cart. I'm letting you guys see all my mess. I keep all of my acrylic collection, which isn't much, down here. And then I have some canvases back there. Over the summer, I made all of these wooden birds with intentions to paint scenes on them. I've done one so far, and that was a lot of fun. More canvases over here. And then there is this gorgeous painting that I did last month called The Swan Brought the Cake. And I just love it. I did like a couple paintings kind of like this that featured a cake and animals. I really, really love this painting. I think it's so great. And then swiveling here, I have more prepped canvases on my floor. I have my easel all set up to paint smalls. I just recently made a wall easel. Wall easel has been a fantastic addition to my studio. I use shiplap, and then I cut parts of it in half, and I attach this side to the canvas. And then this, see how there's like a lip? This lip goes into here, which you can't see because this isn't screwed in. Let me show you on this prepped canvas. I screw it into the back, and then there's a lip here that catches on this lip right here. And then I just unscrew it when I'm done. And then to keep these paintings up off the floor while they dry, I just shift them over. I have been wanting a wall easel for a really long time, so I was so excited when my husband came up with this solution. It has been fantastic. Here's the new one that I just made. I set my iPad here to look at my reference photos, and I keep a little jar full of linseed oil to thin my paints. And then I have my brush cleaner in this jar. And then in this drawer, I keep my oil paints, and they're not organized, but I kind of like put them back in the same place. And like my yellows are over here, my reds are kind of in the middle, and then my black, my blue, and my white is on this side. So I kind of know where to grab it from. This is an old desk that I got at Goodwill. It is perfect because it is just the right height, right at hip level. And then I brought this rolly cart in a few days ago to keep my brushes and my paper towels and everything in. Little section of my studio is just becoming a catch-all, I guess. Here is a painting. I made this painting for a friend for her daughter's room. It was commissioned, and it's just this kind of funny, cute little scene. And I collected this gorgeous frame for it to go into. This piece is really cool because I made the canvas, and I could talk about that maybe some other time. And I made it specifically because I wanted to use this frame that I got at an estate sale, and see how fantastic that's going to be. So I'm excited about that. This painting is still drying, and it's very cute. I am so extremely grateful for my studio. It has been a humongous blessing for me to get to expand my business like this. I have gone through so many different iterations of a studio. For a lot of years, we lived in a very, very tiny little house, and I had my entire studio in this particular three-tiered cart. I would make my art on the dining room table, I would pack it all away in the three-tiered cart, and I would push it into the closet. And that was just fine. And I got by. But then when we moved to this house, I said, can I have this basement back room? And my husband said, yes, of course. And it was like, oh my gosh, so expansive. And it made me feel so wonderful that I got to like have my own space and shut the door. And that was a blessing. And then I was starting to feel growing pains in that room. And like my children were getting older, we needed to utilize that space for something else while we were raising children. And I thought, you know what, I think it's time for me to invest in my studio. When I got this space, it was such a humongous blessing. But I think I want to tell you about where I came from so you know, like, wherever you are at in your journey, it's perfect. But I 100% believe that there is always room for growth. And you know, you never know what is coming down the road for you. What will the future hold? Who knows? Thank you so much for joining me today here in my little studio. I am very grateful for each and every one of you. I am going to get to work now. It is sunny and gorgeous, and I'm feeling lots of creative inspiration coursing through me. So I better make sure I use it right now. Bye, guys.